Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to Really Net's podcast. Today is February the 10th, 2022. This recording is a day late, so forgive me. I'm going to reiterate on last week's topic, which was critical thinking, which also leads up to this week's topic of self-reflection. Critical thinking is only just thinking really outside of the box, thinking of the pros and cons and how to come up with a solvable solution or resolution. This week's podcast is more on self-reflection. As everyone knows, and I say it in every podcast, 2022 kind of started off a little sad. It kind of threw me off my focus a little bit. You know, I'm still trying to get it together, and I have been mourning, having mixed emotions, and dealing with things that is not my actual normal. So that basically leads up to why I need to talk about self-reflection. I am a 43-year-old woman, single woman at that. I have 2 children. They're not children, they're actually young black men, 25 and 19. And over the years, like I said, I'm doing some self-reflection. I think people also need to learn how to do self-reflection. Is like, how do I come to some of the decisions that I have made in my life, and why I keep attracting or going through or dealing with certain things in my life that seem like it's a repetitive thing. One thing about me, I can self-reflect and just talk about only me, nobody else but just me, that I have a bad habit, a very bad habit of wanting to save the world or save people. So as I self-reflect, I have to really just goes back to all my podcasts, just make some different choices, decisions. Because some people actually go through what they go through is because the way they think, or the way they respond, or the way they have emotional outbreaks, or whatever they're going through, is a lot of times it's because of them. And they're making calculated choices to be them. So as I self-reflect, I'm like, I can't save the world. I don't even want to save the world anymore. I done met people where have just drained them, the wanting to save anything out of anyone out of me. People have to go through their own karma. And now I gotten to the point where God have to really just put it in my heart and say, hey, Net, this is the person I want you to minister to. This is the person I want you to lend a helping hand. This is this person. But now God is telling me, hey, I didn't tell you to go help this person. No, this person is actually going through what they're going through is because who they are in themselves. And they don't want to recognize me as their Savior, as their Lord, and all these other things. So I see that now, I cannot save everybody. This is a self-reflection for me. I cannot save everybody. I don't want to save everybody. I just want to be put in a position where if a person that is genuine, that really, really, really needs help, that's the person I actually want to help, which will be no time soon, because right now, like I said, I'm in a position right now, I have to really do some self-evaluation, just reflect on some things and see why I keep going through the same things. Is because I keep putting myself in situations where I shouldn't even be in these type of situations. And that's just the 100% facts and truth. People just cannot be saved unless they want to be saved. They have to make their own choices. They can't go blame Tom, Dick, and Harry or Sue, Jane, and Jill about who they are as a person. I done heard a man tell me, well, you should meet the rest of them. They worse than me. No. You're making a calculated choice to be the person that you are. Your family or whoever is making a calculated choice to be who they are. And that's one thing I do know as an adult. I am who I am is because I make calculated choices to be this person. Because if I go back and blame anyone for who I am, that's actually cowardness and a weakness. And I'm not that person. I done been through 1,000,001 things that people cannot handle. I know they couldn't handle 90% of the things I'd have ever been through in life. They probably would have killed themselves a long time ago. And if I was those things, if I've done those things to anyone, that would be a calculated choice. I cannot blame no one but myself if I put people through what I done been through. Because that's just not how life works. When God created man and woman and Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit, there's one thing I know for sure. At that point, we knew wrong from right, or right from wrong, or left from right, right from left. Those are the things I know for sure. And I always say this, and I mean this, and I truly believe this. Flesh is different from good and evil, because God gave us a choice to actually do good or evil, or if you say good or bad versus good. God gave us that choice after we ate that forbidden fruit. So the things is your flesh, which is your mental state, everything that you got going on that makes you function the way you function, those are calculated choices that you make. And you can't blame no one else but yourself on who you are. And this is why I do self-reflection. I can't blame no one through some of the stuff that I go through or have been through but myself, because I seen it and I chose to ignore it. I always try to see the good in people, but some people just don't have good in them. That's just what it is, and that's just what it is. That's how upfront I can be about this. Like, some people just don't have good in them, and they can pretend that they're good and actually try to be a victim or pretend to be a victim when they're their core issues of their own problems. And as I get older, which I'm thinking that I should have learned this lesson a long time ago, but who I am as a person, I try to really see good in people. And it's just what it is. A lot of people are just not good people. Like, that's how I feel now. Like, it's some good people out there, which is very scarce. But majority of the people that's living, and I'm going to say the majority, are not good people. They're predators. They're narcissists. They are, it's another word that's weak in my words, because it's just like, if you can pretend to be something that you're not, and you are manipulative, that's the word. Very manipulative. And that is not cool, because the genuine people like myself is now really getting fed up with these evil ass people. Like, come on now. Like, you're thinking about worldly things and you're trying to survive and you're trying to do whatever it takes on a level where now you're just a demonic person just walking around, just being ignorant, selfish, manipulative, negative, all these things. And you're not even thinking about the afterlife of this, after the fact, because all this worldly stuff is not going with you. It's like the after fact, your soul. So if you're like this now, I can guarantee you, and there's no judgment here, most likely your one-way ticket is straight to hell. And the genuine person in me is like, man, if I can help this person make it to the next step in life, I feel like that's my purpose of life. But now it's just like, okay, you got to back off and just open your spiritual eye and the spiritual mind. Like, hey, God, I'm tired of this. I cannot do this no more. So my self-reflections, I can't do it no more. I'm not going to say no more. I just don't have it in me for the next year. It's like literally God had to place a person that's genuinely needing help in my life that I want to help them. But right now, I'm going to only think about myself and only me, and get myself in a position where I have no worries. And while you're listening to this podcast, I don't want no one thinking, oh, she's suffering. No, I'm not suffering. I'm actually fine, but I could be better. And the hustler in me is going to make myself better. So, because I'm going to only focus on me. I'm going to do some self-reflection and heal my spiritual mind and get back closer to God and focus on the things I need to focus on. And which is because if I pass away today or tomorrow, I'm only going to heaven or hell for myself and no one else. So I have to get myself together mentally, spiritually, and emotionally in order for me to even just really do anything or be any type of help for anyone. But right now, it's just like, I can't do that anymore. So this is what's going on in my mind. And I said also, I always say this in my podcast, it's about my thought process and how I think. And now I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking that people really need to go find God and put them in his life, because God is first. No matter what you're going through, how you're going through it, and if you're trying to run away from God, you're always going to find yourself in a position where you're going to need God. And if you're one of those people that think there's no God or you don't need God, don't put yourself in a position where it'll be too late. Because when it's too late, your eyes closed for the good, your internal soul needs to be in heaven and not in hell. And I want everybody to have a good evening. I normally do a shout out to a business. And right now I can't just think of anything right off the top of my head. I will be posting again next week. And I will try to be on time. Just fixing some loose ends on my end and getting myself together and doing some self-reflection. People just need to self-reflect. How can you make yourself better? How can you not be a burden on someone else because you need to make yourself better? And the biggest thing I think people need to learn how to do is learn how to close their mouth and don't speak. As far as being opinionated and trying to be right all the time. Once you fix that issue, and that's saying that to myself too, because I am one of those person that always want to have an opinion, or I like a good debate. But sometimes a closed mouth can get you further along than an open mouth. Take that for what it is. Thank you for listening to Really Net Podcast. Much love. I hope everyone have a great week. Enjoying the weather. And if you have any comments, suggestions, please review my page. Review this podcast. I'm found on Facebook, Really Net. I'm found on Instagram, Really Net. I'm on most of the major podcast systems. And everyone have just a great day. And I'm sorry about the choppiness and all the other stuff that's in the background. And like I said, as time get better, this podcast will get better. Peace.